Good evening, my name is Kacper Paradowski and you're watching Poland Daily News. The solemn and dignified ceremony of the 75th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz-Birkenau German concentration camp was attended today by official delegations from more than 60 countries and international organizations. More than 200 Auschwitz survivors were also present.
Jako pierwszy przemawiał prezydent Andrzej Duda.
The first speaker was Polish President Andrzej Duda. He started by quoting an excerpt from Tadeusz Borowski's diary of his days in Auschwitz. The president also reminded everyone present that Poland was the state to fall victim to Nazi Germany. Therefore, it is Poland's right and duty to make sure the world will never forget the atrocities of the Second World War and never forgets the Holocaust. As we mark the 75th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz, we must deliver the truth about this concentration camp to the world, the death and suffering it brought to the people of Europe. This was presented today by survivors of the camp, of whom more than 200 were present for the ceremony. 4 of them gave a moving testimony, frequently paused by emotions. One of the survivors focused on what he called the 11th commandment, which is indifference. He appealed to world leaders and everybody gathered at the ceremony to make sure that the world does not display indifference again. He pointed out the fact that world leaders at the time did not believe the reports coming in about those terrible atrocities. The indifference was like a concession of the crimes to be continued. Historians estimate that at least 1.3 million people were sent to Auschwitz between 1940 and 1945. About 1.1 million of them were killed in the camp, including 960,000 Jews, a majority of which were Polish citizens, and 74,000 Christian Poles.
Pojednanie oparte na pamięci.
Polish President Andrzej Duda was the host of today's commemoration ceremony, but all eyes were on the survivors. 4 of them took to the stage to share their testimonies of the atrocities committed in the camp by Nazi Germany. Let it be our shared commitment before the last surviving witnesses to pass on the lesson and warning for all of mankind which comes from this place. Falsifying the history of the Second World War, denying crimes of genocide, negating the Holocaust and using the tragedy of Auschwitz for any type of agenda is nothing else than a profanation of the memory of the victims whose ashes lie here. The truth about the Holocaust cannot die. The memory of Auschwitz must be preserved so that genocides will never happen again. Once more, I give my thanks to you, the honorable survivors, for your testimonies and your presence here today. Eternal remembrance to all the victims of Auschwitz, eternal remembrance to the victims of the Holocaust.
Żeby zagłada nigdy więcej w historii świata się nie powtórzyła.
I could not recognize myself. I raised my hands to see my reflection in the windows of the block, and only then I knew it was me. It's hard to say what caused me more pain in the beginning, the number tattooed on my arm or losing my hair. I think it was the latter. My hair is what made me feel like a woman, braids tied into a crown on my head. They were soft and pleasant to touch. They were mine, but my crown was taken away from me by the criminals' hands, and I was transformed into a different, pitiful-looking creature. I touched my bald head with my hand. I stood before a window and saw the reflection of my face. Was it still me, or someone else?
Warkocze uczesane w koronę na głowie.
Kombatanckie słowa szacunku.
Let me express my deepest respect as a veteran to all those whom destiny saved from the industrial action of the Nazi German killing machine in Auschwitz and other concentration and death camps. It's a very drastic and tragically truthful sentence. The truth is told by the countless amounts of human hair, reading glasses, dentures, shoes, clothes and other everyday objects used by children, women and men of various nations and religions which lie here. Vera Jourova, who is responsible for rule of law issues in the new European Commission, is visiting Poland. She plans to meet with some of Poland's most senior politicians and judges tomorrow to discuss the Polish judicial reform. More on the visit of Commissioner Jourova to Poland from the Parliament, Aleksandra Zarzycka.
Wiceprzewodnicząca Komisji Europejskiej.
European Commission Vice President Vera Jourova, Commissioner for the Rule of Law, appeared today at the ceremony in Auschwitz. Tomorrow she is expected to come to Warsaw, where she will hold a series of meetings, starting at 9 a.m. with Speaker of the Sejm Elżbieta Witek. Then she will have a meeting with the Speaker of the Senate, Tomasz Grodzki. Her plan also includes a conversation with the Minister of Justice, Zbigniew Ziobro, Deputy Head of her Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Paweł Jabłoński, the First President of the Supreme Court, Małgorzata Gersdorf, as well as with the Polish Ombudsman, Adam Bodnar. The EU Commissioner is also to hold a meeting with the President of the Constitutional Tribunal, Julia Przyłębska. It is unofficially said that the National Council of the Judiciary, as well as the Disciplinary Chamber, also sought an interview with Commissioner Jourova. However, these requests were rejected. The reasoning behind that, as the media speculate, is that the European Union does not want to legitimize those bodies which have been put into question by the Supreme Court. As Gazeta Wyborcza daily reports, the selection of interlocutors is not accidental. They are supposed to represent various parties in the court dispute so as to avoid charges of bias, which were previously directed against Jourova's predecessor, Franz Timmermans, who would only meet with the Polish opposition. The media also unofficially state that the EU Commissioner is to press or appeal to President Duda not to put his signature to the law disciplining judges. If he signs, the European Commission is to immediately initiate a procedure of investigation into a potential violation of EU laws, which may result in the filing of a lawsuit to the European Court of Justice. President Duda has not yet signed the bill in question, but according to the Constitution, he has 21 days to do so. Today, however, he has decided to address a motion to the Constitutional Tribunal, asking it to investigate the rules under which the Supreme Court passed its resolution last week. A similar motion has already been submitted by Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki and the National Council of the Judiciary.
Już premier Mateusz Morawiecki i Krajowa Rada Sądownictwa.
The hopes of the Lega party leader, Matteo Salvini, to deliver a decisive blow against the government by winning the very symbolic regional elections in the leftist stronghold Emilia-Romagna did not materialize, as the election result came in late last night. Experts had forecasted that the coalition government would likely crumble following a defeat in Emilia-Romagna. With 98% of the ballots counted, incumbent Democratic Party governor Stefano Bonaccini had won 51.4% of the vote compared to 43.7% for the candidate backed by the League and its allies. The left say that when people do not vote for them, voters do not understand anything. But for me, the people's vote is always correct. Whoever wins deserved to win. Salvini had campaigned relentlessly in the region since the start of the year, seeking a shock victory that he hoped would bring down the national government, which includes the PD and is riven by internal strife. If the data is confirmed, it is clear that one of the two ruling parties, and I am talking about the Five-Star Movement, will disappear from the Emilia-Romagna region and almost from the Calabria region, which are two regions where the Five-Star Movement was born and where it obtained more votes. It is clear that tomorrow in Rome something will change. Salvini's rightist bloc did secure a resounding victory in a separate regional election on Sunday in the underdeveloped southern zone of Italy, Calabria. But while the PD dodged disaster, its coalition partner, the anti-establishment Five-Star Movement, won just 3.5% of the vote in Emilia-Romagna and little more than 7% in Calabria, meaning that it's unclear how much longer the party will want to remain to act as one of the two legs of the coalition government. That is all for tonight. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for Poland Daily Business. Good night.